promoters serious money to put on the fights. But that's small change compared to what the high rollers ringside spend at the casinos.
Las Vegas has become a haven for big fights. The hotels will pay what they call site fees. But the hotels, in turn, will bring their best customers here. We'll fly them in, they'll eat, drink, and gamble. And it brings in hundreds of millions of dollars, gambling, drinking, and it's big, big business.
No limits. And in recent years, the advent of pay-per-view has pushed the numbers even higher. Showtime.
You can now, for $45 or $50, button in your own living room and see a fight. And in the old days, when Dempsey fought Tunney, 120,000 people came to the stadium, and it was the biggest attendance in the history of boxing. Now, if you have 540,000 buys and everyone has got 10 or 15 friends in their living room, you're talking about 5, 7, 10, 12 million people are watching these fights, and the profit margin is astounding.
The biggest payday ever came in 1997 with a Mike Tyson-Evander Holyfield fight, shown exclusively on Showtime's pay-per-view arm.
When we did Holyfield-Tyson 2, the rematch, the now infamous ear-biting fight, that fight has been reported to have grossed over $100 million domestically in one night on pay-per-view. That's a chunk of change.
Showtime and its rival network HBO are hungry to sign exciting boxers who can pull in audiences with a string of great fights. And they are willing to pay top dollar to lock boxers up in exclusive deals.
First of all, we have a lot of multi-fight deals with the true superstars of the sport, whether it's Prince Nassim Hamed, Roy Jones, Lennox Lewis, and so on and so forth. So once you pinpoint those superstars and you make your multi-fight deals for a number of years and a number of fights, then the challenge is to put up the next best possible opponent into the ring with them on HBO.
HBO had the rights to a series of Lennox Lewis fights, including his defense of the title against Rockman. The surprise knockout win over Lewis put Rockman into the network's sights. His newfound celebrity means he could potentially draw the fans for pay-per-view, and Rockman's promoter, Kushner, knows it. Cedric Kushner, a self-made man with a love for everything red, took a winding road to boxing promotion.
Cedric Kushner was a self-described unruly youngster who dropped out of school after 8th grade. He was working on the docks in Cape Town. Then he came to the United States. He cleaned swimming pools at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach. He operated a Ferris wheel in New Jersey.
By the mid-70s, Kushner had left the fairground for the world of music promotion.
I worked with some big names, Bob Seger, Fleetwood Mac, of course, AC/DC, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Jackson Browne, some wonderful, wonderful talent.
Then in 1984, he started a successful career as a boxing promoter. But he's never had a world heavyweight champion until now.
It's the type of thing that you live your whole life for. Everything that you do in work, all the hours that you put in, all the money that you invest.
Promoters provide a very serious and valuable function in the world of boxing. They are the ones that really put the fights together. They're the ones that have the relationships with the individual managers of those fighters, not only to convince them to get in the ring against each other, but to actually say to HBO, what is this fight worth to you on the open market, so that we can come up with a number to satisfy these two boxers.
No.
Cedric Kushner Promotions, this is Cindy.
I'm not even sure if I can deliver.
Rockman has given the green light to Kushner to put together a deal that's in the millions. HBO's Ross Greenberg is the TV executive he's negotiating with.
Television number. Trying to take the television number from the domestic television, supplement a portion of the foreign rights, plus a portion of the sponsor, plus a portion of the site. We just want to get an idea of what the revenue sources might be.
Kushner's in a unique position. He's promoting the heavyweight champion of the world, and Rockman is not signed to a network, so he can call the shots.
And present him a very attractive offer.
Make no mistake about it, television drives the bus. Television is the entity that pays the rights fees. And without television buying a fight from a promoter, you don't have an opportunity to make money.
Well, when you get two great champions in the same ring, then you can generate pay-per-view interest in the public, and therefore the money starts to escalate. And the fighters can make a lot more money by fighting in a pay-per-view business model. And the public decides that they'll pay $30, $40, $50 on that night to watch a big fight, and that's where that money comes from.
But Shelley's offering that.
The top contenders for Rockman's next fight are Lewis, whose fights are on HBO, and boxing's bad boy, Mike Tyson, who's with Showtime.
Yes.
This has been the wildest 2 weeks of my pretty wild life, dealing with the Rahman negotiations to decide who his next challenger is going to be. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis in a rematch, possibly someone else. It's really been crazy. What Jim and I are trying to do right now is put together the most attractive offer for Rahman.
He's obligated to the 25. Let me ask Seth if you can join us for 2 seconds. Seth will pick up.
You know, there are a lot of factors, a lot of factions involved in the negotiation. We're on the phone right now with HBO. We're talking to them.
Yeah,
and, you know, that's the situation. Up to date.
There's tremendous decisions to be made that will affect the fighter for the rest of his career, and whichever network gets to promote the heavyweight champion of the world. That's a significant statement.
Kushner is on the brink of realizing his dream, a multi-million-dollar deal that guarantees the high life. But a year ago, he was at the lowest point of his career as a promoter. He was a key witness in a federal case that investigated corruption in boxing, a bribery scandal. It involved a top official of one of the world's biggest boxing organizations, Bob Lee Sr., the president of the International Boxing Federation, the IBF.
That's what King would do. Yeah, he's keep it in the family. I mean, what? It don't make no sense.
The criminal investigation provided an opportunity to clean up the sport. Corruption and scandal in boxing is an old story. So tarnished was boxing's reputation by the 1950s that even movies moralized about it.
Now look, Eddie, we got $1 million locked.
With its combination of big money and betting, boxing has always been ripe for corruption.
Bringing you the raw lowdown, exposing the mobsters with their flashy cars and trashy women, the fixed fights, the corruption out.
It is also one of the easiest sports to fix because it only takes one bribe.
And if you want the money, you're going to have to go pick it up for yourself. And then you'll get him in the ring with Brannon.
The statement of Governor Brown...
Bogart's character refused to fix the fight, but real life didn't mirror 50s Hollywood.
...staff to determine if the underworld, together with certain powerful figures in professional boxing, were engaged in a continuing conspiracy to monopolize professional boxing.
In 1960, former middleweight champion Jake LaMotta testified before the Kefauver Commission, a Senate probe into organized crime.
Jake LaMotta